Thank you for joining me for another episode, another insight. I love sharing value through these insights, helping you tap into your true purpose, unlocking who you are capable of being, and just getting you to a point where you're starting to live your life God's way. You know, God has provided so much infinite possibilities of who we are capable of being. But unless we tap into His purpose and into His deeper sense of what He has in line for us, we cannot live our true potential out. And I hope that these insights are giving you that understanding and driving you closer to just, connect with God on a deeper level. Because I can tell you the impact on my own journey, walking my life, aligning my life with God has been exponential. The changes that I've been seeing in my life has really been incredible. And I hope that through this particular insight today, I can help you see the cost of, what it's costing you to, through your thoughts, through your speech, through your actions, to not really connect with God on a deeper level and trying to fulfill that which He has laid out for your life. Now, in trying to fulfill these infinite possibilities that exist within us, we normally look at the past as a reference point as to who we were and who we are capable of being. And that is so wrong, because God says in Isaiah 43 that, don't you see that I've created a new path for you, a new plan for you, and a new purpose for your life. I'm creating something that never existed before in your life. But we limit God because we are, like I said, we're focusing on the past, we're focusing on the results that we had in the past, and we base our thinking on the past. I've done it for the longest part of my own life, my own walk, not realizing that I was actually sabotaging my journey going forward because I kept focusing on, how things played out for me in the past, and I used that as a reference point to say, okay, well then, in this situation, with these conditions, it's also going to work out exactly the same, because that's what happened in the past for me. And it took me a lot of soul searching, a lot of in-depth journaling to really unpack and uncover and diving into God's word and really extracting the value from God's word to understand that, what Isaiah is saying, that, God has created a new path for me, that He says, forget the things that's behind you, focus on where you are, focus on where you're going with your life. And when I started doing that, things just started changing, and I want to challenge you to start counting the cost in your life. What is it costing you to hold on to the past so tightly that you cannot see yourself going to the next level with your life? That you cannot see that God has already created an opportunity for you going forward, because you are so focused on, the factors that brought you to the current point where you are in your life, and you're basing everything in the future on those particular factors. I watch my parents, clinging to the past and not being able to move forward with their lives, and God really opened up my eyes in that regard as well. And He told me, my son, this can be your life as well. You can also be clinging to the past and building your future based on the past. Or you can decide today that you're going to put aside the former things and trust in me to create a new pathway for you. Okay, so if you're getting value so far from what I'm saying, then please by all means share this with the next person, like the content, and if you haven't yet, please subscribe to the channel, because I'm trying to give you value through insights like these from a grounded perspective, not pulling things out of thin air, but really basing these insights on God's word and where God really wants us to go with our lives, with who we are capable of being. And like I said, I used to cling to the past, and God showed me with regards to my parents' situation as well, this can be your future, or this will be your future if you continue down this road. And I had to get to a point where I had to make a firm decision to say, I don't want that. I want more for my life, and I know, Lord, that you are capable of giving me more. And God reminded me of Paul's word to the Philippians, in all things I have learned to be content. And it's that peace of God that surpasses the understanding, our human logic, our human reasoning. It is that peace. And when you embrace it, because Jesus already said, my peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. So it's already inside of us. We need to learn to unlock that peace and give it to other people. If you want peace in your life, you need to learn to give it to the next person. This comes down to counting the cost in your life. These are the steps that I've been taking to get my life from being stuck in a rut, because the rut is just a grave with both ends kicked out. From being stuck in a grave, basically, to starting to love my life, starting to tap into the exponential possibilities of who I am capable of being. I've got such a long way to go with my journey. I've got such a long way to go with my life. But I started tapping into who I am, who I'm capable of being. And I started counting the cost of my life, of what my old decisions are doing to me, what my old thoughts are doing to my life, what my old actions are doing to who I am capable of being. And I want to challenge you today. Start taking stock of the thoughts that you were thinking, the words that you keep speaking, even though you're speaking it as a joke. Start listening to those words. What are those words? What are those thoughts? What are those actions actually costing you in terms of your journey? Now, I'm part of a men's group where we are learning to transform and change and challenge the way we as men thinking, because if we are going to impact our community, we need to impact ourselves first. And one of the guys keep coming back to the men's group, with the same story over and over and over and over. He keeps clinging to the things that are going wrong in his life, and he keeps speaking about the things that are going wrong in his life. And in self-development, they say, there's an expression that says, what you focus on, you expand. It becomes bigger in your life. And that is such a powerful truth, that if, the world can accept and understand that if you focus on negativity, then negativity is going to be the reality of your life. But when you start focusing on the fact that there's this God, this infinite God that can just change your life in ways you could never imagine or begin to understand, then that is what's going to happen in your life. That is what's happening currently in my life. Changes are happening in my life that I cannot begin to explain to people. I cannot reason out how these changes or why these changes are happening to me. But they are happening to me because I started paying attention to what I'm thinking, what I'm speaking, what I'm feeling, and the actions, the habits that are contributing to me being either stuck in a rut or moving on to the path that God intended for me. So what are you doing right now? Are you counting the cost? In the book of Luke, Jesus says, are you counting the cost of building a tower? Because if you haven't counted the cost, you might find yourself in a very embarrassing situation. And that is what this insight is all about today. It is challenging you to really start counting the costs. My pastor really opened up my eyes to an understanding to the teaching of when Jesus walked on the water and the disciples were caught in that storm in the little boat. When Peter asked him, if that is you, Lord, then you will command me to come. And Jesus said, come. Now Peter walked on the water and he looked at the storms, and the storms were scaring him. Even though Jesus was right in front of him, he got scared by all the factors surrounding him, and he started sinking down to the bottom. But then before he could drown, he said, Lord, save me. And Jesus stuck out his hand and he lifted him out of the water. That was always my understanding of that particular story. I always caught that understanding that when you look at the storms, instead of focusing on Jesus, then you are going to be sinking down. So that is true. That is a true understanding. But there was a deeper understanding to that particular story that I never caught, and my pastor brought this to my attention. He said that when Jesus put Peter back into the boat, he also got back into the boat. And only then did the storms calm down. And I went back and I went and read that particular verse, and I saw that that's exactly what stands in the Bible. The storms only calmed down once Jesus got into the boat. And I have been doing that wrong my whole life long. I've been running, even when I got saved, I've been running with a command in my heart, but I never stopped and said, Lord, are you with me on this? Right? So that is the greatest cost in my life. The fact that I took all these actions and never stopped to ask, God, is this your will? Are you with me? Jesus said to God, your will be done. If it is your will to take this cup away from me, then your will be done. But if it's not your will, I'm going to follow whatever you have set out for me to follow. And I want to encourage you, if you really are serious about counting the cost in your life, and start asking God, is He with you in this next step that you want to take in your life? Whether it is speaking to your rebellious child, whether it is addressing something at work, whether it is your finances, whether it is an investment that you want to make. Unless God is with you, unless Jesus is with you in that boat, those storms are going to rage and they're going to cause havoc in your life. Now, I hope that you're going to start counting the cost in your life. Because when you start counting how much it's costing you to not get Jesus in the boat with you, you will start seeing that you are building and building and building, but your buildings keep falling down because you're building on sand. And once you get Jesus into the boat, you are building on rock, you are building on a solid foundation. And when you build on a solid foundation, that which you build cannot be destroyed by man. So I pray and I trust that you are going to start counting the cost, start looking at the way forward for your life and making sure that you are always confirming with God before you take action. I hope that you got value from this particular insight, because I really try to pour as much as I can into it and give you that shift in your thinking and in your perspective. And like I said, if you found value from what I shared here, then please share it with the next person. Let us impact people's lives out there, transforming them, helping them understand that, God's way is the right way for us to live our lives. There is so much lies and deceit out there in the world. But unless we speak up, the world is never going to wake to that reality. If you haven't yet, by all means, subscribe to this channel, like the content. I'm trying to give you the value through these insights. I would love to hear your thoughts, your thinking with regards to this insight. So please drop me your comments, drop me your feedback. I would definitely respond to any comment, any feedback that you also drop as well. Like I said, I hope you took the value out of this. I look forward to seeing you on the next insight. So for now, this is Vinny Max saying, change your thinking, change your world.